Hi, this is Kevin again with WordVice. Welcome to part 2 in our series on the 2017-2018 Common Application Essay. In this video, we're going to examine the 7 prompts that we talked about in the last video, and we're going to see which one you should choose to write your essay on. So let's take a look. First, there are 2 different approaches to brainstorming, but with this essay, because there's so many prompts, just choosing the right prompt is sort of a task in and of itself. So the first way we'll look at is how to tell your compelling story. So if there's anything in your life that you think of immediately that you want to write about, this might be your first option. Maybe something that sticks out in your mind, an event from your past or a part of your background. So let's ask yourself some questions first. Is there something that makes you stand out from other people? Have you had a watershed or crossroads moment? Do you think of yourself as being a different person before and after this event? For example, maybe when you were in middle school, you had a traumatic event, or you moved to a different city, or you traveled the world. Something that would definitely make the admissions officers see you as a more than ordinary person in terms of your experiences. Did you have an extraordinary or highly unusual childhood? Maybe you traveled with the circus when you were younger. So if you have a great story to tell, just start writing. And the best way is to write down the details of the events. You don't have to write in long form before you draft your essay. And so before brainstorming for the prompt, if you're going to write your entire essay, you can look at each individual prompt and tell which prompt would be perfect for your essay, because you do have to choose one of the 7 prompts. So the second way in which you can approach these prompts is to brainstorm for each individual prompt. So let's look at prompt number 1. In this prompt, you want to talk about a background, identity, interest, or talent. This is the broadest of all the 7 prompts, and it asks you to show basically what happened in your life in a broad sense. So you might find that the exciting story in your life we talked about before fits this one quite well. Prompt number 2 focuses on challenge, setbacks, and failures. In this prompt, you want to discuss something that negatively affected you, but you really also want to focus on what you learned from that experience. Basically, you want to show your resilience. If you have a story about falling off a bike as a metaphor, or a story about failing to achieve a goal you wanted to achieve, this would be a good prompt for you. Think about times when you just haven't gotten what you wanted, when you failed. How did you overcome these failures? And what are your lessons for the future? So because this is a college essay, the admissions officer wants to see how you can apply these lessons about your challenge or failure to your future, perhaps your future career and your future in education. Prompt number 3 tells you to reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. It's a great way for those people of certain minds to show how they approach the world in an analytical or philosophical way. So here's some brainstorming ideas. First, the belief or idea could come from anywhere. It doesn't have to be a huge political idea. It could be small or local. Think about a time you stood up to a person or a set of rules. Maybe your high school teacher had a very strict criteria for the class that you didn't agree with, and you petitioned to get that rule changed. That would be a great example. It affects that class, but it shows that you are willing to challenge the status quo. Prompt number 4 asks you to describe a problem you've solved or you'd like to solve. Now pay attention to the words in bold here. Intellectual challenge, research query, ethical dilemma. It can be anything as long as it's personal. You want to explain the significance of this problem. It's not only that you thought about the problem, but how it affected your life and it affected your search for knowledge or your search for meaning in life. So this one might be good for the analytic thinker, any engineers or philosophers out there, someone with an interest in math, science, or engineering. If you have a desire to solve problems, it doesn't have to be a world problem. It can be just a local problem. This might be for you. Okay, on to prompt number 5, which asks you to discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself. Think of some major recent accomplishments or awards. What have you done recently that has made you exceptional to other students, other applicants, but also very proud? If you've won a national spelling bee or if you've won a science contest, it really shows that you've pushed yourself. These are events that might have changed you in your life. It doesn't have to be just an accomplishment. It could be something that is not necessarily negative, but is not necessarily positive, but something that shaped you. Or perhaps it's a life-changing epiphany, a realization of something that you wanted to do. Maybe you made a big switch. You wanted to be a lawyer your whole life. Suddenly, you decided you wanted to be an astronaut. If you can explain what made you change your mind, that would be a good prompt for you. On to prompt 6, which asks you to describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. And this is a bit similar to prompt number 4 in that you're looking at an idea, a challenge or a problem in society. And here it's a little bit more broad, a topic, idea, or concept. Now, what could that mean? Ask what ideas keep you up at night. If you lay at night thinking about the theory of relativity or world hunger, you might approach this prompt in such a way. What things have you always wondered about? Maybe you've always wondered why this invention hasn't been created yet, or this certain struggle that people face in parts of the world hasn't been solved. This shows that you're an empathetic person. And I should add that this prompt is new this year, so it's sort of in the testing phase. So it might be one that you can approach knowing that the majority of applicants aren't going to be talking about in their essay. You can also talk about problems you desire to be solved. So I mentioned world hunger. There might be sanitation, or it doesn't have to be even so global. It can be local. You can give your ideas about how you think they might be solved. But again, the focus is going to be on your empathy, your curiosity. And prompt number 7 is new this year as well. It asks you to share an essay on any topic of your choice. Again, I think that if you have the first approach to brainstorming, where you just tell your compelling story, or you have an idea that's very out there, really outlandish, prompt 7 is pretty much a catch-all. So even if you write your essay, your Common App essay, in the form of a short science fiction story, that would be a really bold way to go. Sometimes that works. If that's what you love to do, this is giving you the chance to do that. So there you have it. Here's a closer look at the prompts and how you might choose the prompt for you. Stay tuned for part 3, where we will look at the prompts in detail and talk about how to approach writing and brainstorming these prompts. Until next time, thanks and happy writing.